I finally completed a task. Welcome back, everybody. Today we need to put a big hole right here, and I've been thinking about it for a few days now and how I want to approach it, and being very methodical about it. And it's probably going to take a lot longer for me to do than it would for somebody with more experience to do, but I think I have a plan. As for the big hole, I have a 4-inch hole saw that was down in the shop. Still feels pretty sharp. But before we even think about taking it to the wing of the plane, we are going to test it on a Steve approved part. So plenty of those laying around. So I've got tons of extra material, we'll call it. So what I'm planning on doing is, I haven't done anything since the last video that you saw. It's still just a kind of like a rifle sight, but I found a center punch. I'm going to center punch each of the 4 mounting holes, which are going to be the center holes for the little riv nuts. I don't know if it'll focus on that or not, but not riv nuts. What are they called? Shit, I'll think of it. Anyways, so I'm going to center drill, well, I'm going to center punch those holes, drill those out with a number 30 drill. I am going to use copper clecos to locate those kind of tangent to the circle. I've already tested the copper cleco. They fit well through the screw hole and should have enough to grab the aluminum inside. In fact, I haven't tested it on a actual part yet, so let's do that. Then there's nothing left to chance. So, okay, so I'm inserting through the face, and perfect. So that will hold that very stationary and allow me to drill then number 40 holes for the smaller rivets, really tiny countersunk rivets that gotta go in there. Then I'll drill 1 hole, put in a silver cleco, so then the center's located, one side is located, the other side has no choice but to be precise. So then I can drill that hole. And I'm going to proceed in that fashion around the circle till I get all 4 done. And at that point, I will take the, man, I wish I could remember what they're called. Something nuts, whatever. But I'll take those off. Then I need to countersink for the rivets because they're the countersink flush style. I've taken my deburring tool and I have a number 40 centered 100-degree countersink tool in there because I'm just going into the surface of the skin here, so I should be able to just lightly take that out, create the countersink. I thought about dimpling it, but I think the skin is actually thick enough for this tiny countersink. So that's the plan. I'm going to countersink each of those holes. At that point, I can then rivet these retaining nuts. It's going to drive me nuts that I can't remember the proper term for it, but that's the plan. And thanks to Tail Dragger's comment, which I just read this morning on the prior video that I posted. I was actually going to come in here, drill this out, and then kind of reach from behind to position these. But Tail Dragger, thank you very much. He mentioned that I should center punch these and locate these before I remove the large mass of material to keep from warping the skin, and I think that's a brilliant idea. So man, I do really appreciate you guys' comments. I learn a lot from them. There's a couple guys that do comment regularly. Noel Wade, I always love his stuff. Tail Dragger, you're in there for sure, and a few others I wish I could remember. Maybe I'll try and start to write that down and give you guys a little more credit where it's due. But yeah, that is the plan for today. Get these drilled, countersunk, then use the big hole saw to take out the center, then do whatever deburring I need to do at that point where I can reach in and deburr the back sides of the smaller holes, and at that point I'll be able to rivet these in place and upsize drill the holes in the cover or the Pitot mount plate, whatever you want to call it. And at that point, this project should be done. Hell, it took me longer to explain it than it might to do it. So, all right, I'm going to start on this and let you watch me at the normal pace for a while. Then I'll probably time lapse it just because I'm sure it gets boring as shit, and come back and discuss it when I'm done. Or if I hit any hiccups along the way, I'll come back and explain what I'm thinking. So enjoy. Let's build a plane. Okay, that was not terribly painful, and I think it's accurate. I was a little OCD about getting, you know, the riv thingy dingy nuts. Tangent to the circle doesn't need to be perfect, but you know, within a certain parallel acceptable amount. Yeah, so that's done other than the deburring and the countersinking. Next step will be to try the hole saw on this already wrecked flap skin. So, flap skin. Why does that just sound a little eh? Alright. 4-inch hole saw versus scrap aluminum. Let's see what we can do here. I think it's going to be a lot easier in the wing because it's up in that corner supported by the spar and the rib. This is just flexing, so it's probably going to grab and break my wrist here at some point. Or my battery's going to die before I even get close. Oh, good stuff. Well, I mean, it's not jumping and getting outrageous or anything, and that's what my real concern was, whether it was going to do something absolutely goofy on me. So I want to say I think I'm good in that aspect. Let me grab my scale. I just want to check the OD of this to make sure that it is in fact going to get me a 4-inch hole. Okay. Should be easier on the wing. I'm pushing on this, it's becoming concave. The wing shape is convex, so the high spots should cut through, and then it should just gradually sink down until the two low spots are ready to be cut. And at that point, depending on how the drill is reacting, I may stop and just get a little hacksaw blade or something and just finish the very, very, very last little bit if I have to, if it's vibrating and getting out of control. But at this point, I'm comfortable putting the hole saw to the wing once I get the battery charged. So I'll be back. Okay, I went and stole another battery off of the impact driver. I'm not sure how charged this is, but the first one's on the charger right now, so if we don't get too far, I could probably go get that one prematurely and finish the job, but we'll see where we're at. While we're waiting for that to charge, I'm going to countersink the smaller holes, and I'm also going to upsize drill the center holes because those need to be able to clearance the screws that retain the pitot tube mounting plate in position. So I just use my calipers. The screws are about 162 thousandths, and this drill bit is about 171 thousandths, so fairly close fit, but definitely a clearance fit. So I just got to remember, only drill the center holes. Don't get excited. the RPM on this thing is just crazy. Alright, so do a little test fit. I'll probably need to use that same drill on the Pitot tube mounting plate. Ah, that is money. Alright. So, that part's done. Let's try this little countersink out here. Alrighty, let's do a little test fitting with an actual rivet. Go a hair more. Okay. Anchor nut. That's the name. It's an anchor nut. Alright, they can be just a little proud. I do not want to countersink these too much because once you change the hole diameter on the skinniest side, then the rivet won't hold securely. So I just wanted to get them recessed a bit. Couple that are standing a little prouder. I'm going to call that good. Change out that countersink to my normal deburring tool. All right. It's go time, and I'm kind of scared, to be honest with you. So this would be a big piece to rebuild, but I know I'm in the right location. I'm going to take a quick peek down the wing just to see what's hanging out in that region, actually. Okay. The tie-on tubes for the pitot and static tubes are actually veering away towards the top side of the wing, and I think we're good. So deep breath. I'm going to upsize this hole real quick just to be sure that that doesn't want to wander and walk off on me right away. Alright, here we go. I hope the hole saw is sharper than the pilot drill. I'll try the higher speed. And battery number 2 is now dead also. Oh, I don't dare throw this on the pneumatic drill because, well, it may take off in like a helicopter. Alright. We need to wait for drill battery number 1. But the good news is the hole's staying exactly where I want it, and yeah, I'm gonna insert a picture here right now. So drill's doing exactly what I want, exactly where I want. So I have no real worries at this point in time. So it's just a waiting game. I'll be back. Okay, so I was headed down, put battery number 2 near the charger because the charger's filled with battery number 1 right now. And I had to walk past my antique collection. So look what I found. Nobody could steal these, they're attached. So we're right back at it. Uh-oh. That appears to have walked. Yeah, that's walking a bit. That's not good. That just made life a little harder. Not a big deal. Not gonna stress over it. Let's, didn't do any damage. Started to walk, but the pressure was on this side, so it's cut down and actually through, but inside the hole. It walked this way, but it was high. Wasn't really touching, so a little bit of a scuff there. Everything else is well within the 4 inches. So gotta hand cut this baby, I guess. But with what? Let me go back down and look through that antique section and see what I can't come up with. Okay. Went downstairs, found a piece of thick paper, thin cardboard, whatever you want to call it. Made a 4-inch circle template. Again, rifle scope, crosshairs on it. Lined it up. Redrew my red circle, and that's going to have to do. I'm going to put in a drill bit. I don't know which one. I'll probably center punch a hole out just inside the perimeter and drill a whole lot of little holes and close enough to where I can, you know, use the drill probably to hacksaw through them, and then I will go downstairs. I'll get myself a nice round file, and I will proceed to smooth that jagged edge. So have fun watching this. I'll try and find some really crappy music for you. I wonder if a jigsaw would be okay. I'm afraid those tubes might be a little too close in there. I could use a larger drill bit to do this, but I think I get a little less distortion in walking with a simple number 30 or something. I just want to do a small section to see what this is, what it's going to get me. It feels really bizarre to just be hacking away at my wing with a pair of Weiss snips. See if I can't break it out in the quadrants, or close to. It's a start. would just break it into bite-sized pieces. I'll look at it like pie. A lot of sharp edges though. Luckily, the holes are close enough together where I just make these thin strips, so there's only 3 or 4 narrow perforations to go through. Work them back once or twice. They pop right off. Doesn't seem to be distorting the exterior wing skin at all. It's a little crude, but it's working. Just to be safe, we'll do this just in half here. Probably should be wearing a glove. And again, it's not real work if you don't bleed, right? Last one's a little tough. I'm going to hold it with the side cutters. Alright, there's a hole in the wing. The tubing was far enough back where that was not affected at all. Now the fun part of sanding that out. I've got a couple little Dremel drums. May throw one in the pneumatic drill because that's such high RPMs, and then just see what happens. I may take the file to its own first, but I'm afraid if the file wants to grab it, that may want to deform that skin. Let me go see what I've got for tools, and I'll be back. Okay, one big round file and a Dremel tip little sanding drum at stupid RPMs. So let's see which works better. I don't like that noise, and it's got a lot of flex on the skin out here where it's not well supported, so I'm gonna like this noise even less, but it may be faster. Okay, that's 80, 90, 90% done, I'll call it. By using a completely round file instead of just a semicircle file, I'm able to go into, oh, there's our blood. Oh no, that might be a marker. Anyway, so picture the radius of the hole like this. I'm able to go in the hole, do a back chamfer, a front chamfer, and then if you could picture as you're looking down the radius of the file, as you angle the file, that the radius gets larger and larger and larger and larger to the point where you could be going from here to here. You picture the file going from, or the material going from halfway up on this side down to the bottom, halfway out on this side. That's a long radius. I can almost approximate that 4-inch hole by using this properly. The only places it gives me a hard time is close to the rib and close to the spar, but I was able to get most of the material out that way. So I'll probably do a little bit of fine tuning with the sander, run the deburring tool around the inside, the outside. Just make sure there's no cracks or fractures. I may even kind of hand sand it here just for the final sanding. And yeah, almost done. I think the catastrophe has been avoided. So let me finish this and then we'll get on to the next part about putting in these anchor nuts. I remembered the name that time. Okay, so back to it. All right, it may not be a perfect Da Vinci circle, but it is what we call adequate. And that should be just fine. All right, let's get those anchor nuts in. And that should be a pretty straightforward process right after I deburr the back of those holes, which I need to do without seeing. So. Alright, that's the smallest head I've got, so let's hope that works. There we go. All right. That's as good as that's gonna get. Now the real test. Which I can't do because I haven't clearance drilled these yet. Alright, I don't feel the need to tighten them all the way down. They fit, they align. The Pitot static tubes seem to be facing straight forward within a ridiculously small angle, but yeah, I did it. I completed a task that had something to do with the airframe. That is so exciting. So all right, it took me way too long, 2 videos, but Pitot tubes basically ready to use, other than hooking the hoses up to the inside and then to the instrumentation much later. And that's it. Feels good. So as always, if you like what I'm doing here, remember to subscribe down there. Click that thumbs up button because YouTube thinks that's really special, and share these videos with your friends. Thanks for watching.